Well,
I'm sorry to hurt your feelings, but I'm a mutant.
you're a mutant?
Not to really be mad if I was a mutant. Not to be like, you're a mutant?
No,
Seriously?
yeah. If you were a mutant, you didn't tell me. If you were an X-Men and I found out like 6 years into our friendship, we wouldn't be friends anymore.
What if he had Storm's powers?
Oh, I would kill him. I'm like, yo, you give it to him?
Nnamdi's the villain. Nnamdi be the villain.
Oh, I really would be the villain. Well, if y'all had to be a villain, what villain would you be? If you had to be a villain, what villain would you be?
Thanos, probably.
Who?
Thanos, I guess. I don't know. Are you talking about Thanos?
I'd be like Magneto.
Yeah, Magneto's pretty dope.
But he went through a Holocaust and shit. I don't know.
Oh, he did,
That's
yeah.
true.
But it's made him who he is today, an evil person. So I mean,
I'd be Tory Lanez. That's the villain I'd be.
oh my god. On that note, welcome to another episode of the 97 Demo Podcast. What number is this? 10. Now we gotta go straight in from that. We just gotta go straight in.
This is episode 7.
Episode 7 of the 97 Demo Podcast, where we give you the latest in music news, headlines, releases, and a couple of fun things along the way. This week we have something real good, the Midyear Report. So we're going to talk about basically what people have been listening to throughout the pandemic. And you may be surprised, because we were. But before we get into all that, how y'all doing this week, per usual?
Doing all right. It was a good week.
I'm going to stop asking if I don't get some real answers.
Wait. We're all stuck inside.
Yeah, we stuck inside, bro. But it's been a good week, you know. I stay inside all day. Anyway, so this is nothing.
Nnamdi, how was your week? What exciting thing happened to you?
Yeah, what about you, buddy?
Wow, I mean, what didn't happen this week? You know, I got some Chinese the other day. That was exciting. Got Popeyes yesterday. Got a good mile time. Eating, being active.
Up?
You know,
That's what's up.
It's good.
Yeah,
some positivity.
more chilling going on.
All right. Well, let's y'all. Should we just go ahead and jump into it? Shall we just begin?
Yep.
Not waste any more time. I guess we start with our charts rundown. So over on the Billboard 200, nothing too surprising. Pop Smoke debuted at number 1. Very happy about this because I really enjoyed his projects. But 251,000 copies sold first week. Y'all get this. All 19 of the songs on that album charted on the Hot 100 this week.
Wow.
The highest being For the Night at number 6. Then The Woo, which I believe is the 50 Cent feature, on number 11. But rounding out the top 5, Pop Smoke coming in at number 1. Hamilton coming in at number 2, definitely boosted by its Disney Plus debut, now available for streaming. My Turn, My Little Baby still at number 3, after being at number 1 for however many weeks, I think 5 weeks. Blame It On Baby, number 4. Hollywood's Bleeding, Post Malone, still chilling after 44 weeks at number 5. Any surprises there, you guys?
No surprises. Dope to see Hamilton come up after its release on not Apple Music, on Disney Plus. So people are going back to listen to that album. And of course, Pop Smoke. That's always dope. So happy about it. Want to see it. Love it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool to see how Hamilton was like popular obviously 250 weeks ago, and now it's back.
How many? Oh,
yeah, that is insane.
The documentary was wow.
What is?
The documentary was it was filmed in 2016. So
okay.
This thing's been very popular for 4 years now, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So it's really cool to see it come back.
Exactly. I wonder what was like so last week was 14. I wonder what the lowest it's been this whole time, because I feel like Hamilton's had a consistent amount of people listening to the album.
It's never been number 1 though, apparently.
It'll get there.
I believe this is the highest, I think the biggest peak, I believe, in a long time, where I don't know ever. Unfortunately, I'm not too clear on the stat. But for a soundtrack for a musical, I believe this is like the highest peak one has seen. And it's 6 times platinum.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
They did. They killed it.
It's gonna go diamond eventually one day.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm sure.
It'll go diamond. So.
Extending it to top 10, are there any other surprises that we see After Hours with The Weeknd, Fine Line, Harry Styles, Polo G, Lil Uzi, Lil Durk?
Seems like most things kind of just got like pushed down by Hamilton.
Yeah,
everything exactly. That's exactly what happened. I don't know. Nothing surprised really. The same old rap guys and Bad Bunny.
And Bad Bunny, who is dominating still, but we'll get to that later.
Oh, look at Juice WRLD, that's not that's not an album that just came out. That's an older album. So that's interesting.
Wait, hold on. I hope this isn't real. Avery, can you scroll back up? Because I hope this isn't a true stat, but I think it may be. Wow. Okay, so the first album on here that's led by a female artist is Lady Gaga at number 18. So in the top 20, there's only one album right now on the Billboard. Can you go to 20 before I say this to make sure there's not any? Right. In the top 20, there's only one album led by a female artist, and it's Lady Gaga's Dramatic at number 18. That's kind of insane.
Yeah.
And the next one is Billie Eilish, and that album came out over a year ago.
Only 3 female artists in the top 30.
Has there just been not that many releases? Like, I'm trying to think of how that could be a thing.
Yeah, I don't think it's been a lot of releases. I don't know. I can't think of a lot of major releases this year.
Yeah, that's interesting. That is really interesting.
I mean, I think this just shows that males are not only like they dominate, but they're the most saturated too. Like more men break through in music than women, unfortunately. But I think it's have to do with just the sheer number of music that comes out, and it's mostly men. So
that's very true.
Over
on the Hot 100, it's a slightly different picture. At least there's more female representation. But the top 5, pretty much the same. Rockstar by DaBaby, still number 1. Blinding Lights back up at number 2 after 22 weeks. What's Poppin', the remix version, down to number 3. Savage by Meg Thee Stallion sitting pretty at number 4. Roses by St. John at number 5. Savage has been there for 17 weeks, and that remix version is still there, just powering it through. It'll still be a top 5 song.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Say So, the remix, I don't think is in the top 10 anymore. So what does that say? Oh no, it still is number 9. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. It's dope to see Pop Smoke number 6 and 11. That's super dope. Super dope to see that. Yeah, I wonder where the rest of his songs are, but that's still super dope. This is way up there. You have to go up, but Jack Harlow, What's Poppin' remix. He just released a music video a couple days ago. Which is interesting. Weird time considering what's going on with featuring Tory Lanez, Lil Wayne. Am I missing somebody? Yeah. And DaBaby. So they're cool. And it would see a bunch of Pop Smoke songs on this top 100.
All 19 of those songs are on that chart, which is such a feat. So
yeah, exactly.
Literally throughout this whole list, I'm sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Avery, could you go to number 99 for me?
Sure.
And I think that's where this song is, because this is just funny to me. 6 to 9's new song, debuted at number 99.
Yep.
Is that surprising?
Not surprising.
I didn't know this came out, so I'm not surprised.
Yeah, not surprising. Like I say, 6ix9ine is a professional troll. He had a song with Nicki Minaj, who's also one of the biggest artists in the world. This is a song by himself. Why he's a professional troll? He does need help if he wants to be a number 1. If he wants a top 10 song, he doesn't have that kind of pull yet, I believe. It's not surprising that 6ix9ine debuted at number 99.
And I do think, didn't the first track he released out of jail, Gooba, I think that may have had a top 10 debut. I believe it did actually. Maybe even top 5. Yeah, Pizza number 3. But that again had the fact that it was his first single right out of jail. So of course there's a lot of eyes that were just going to be interested in that anyway. But yeah, went from debuting at number 1 to debuting at number 99. And even Trolls, which debuted at number 1, has fallen to number 83 after just 4 weeks. You know, as impressive it is that it did debut, that is quite a fall that you don't normally see in songs that debut that high. Yeah. But I guess overall, not that many other surprises throughout the Billboard, either the Billboard 200 or the Hot 100. But big congrats to Pop Smoke, because again, all 19 songs. I expect we'll see something really similar with Juice WRLD next week. And speaking of, I know Juice WRLD, his album Legends Never Die is set to come out next week. I saw a number that said 508,000 copies. I think that was via chart data on Twitter, but I couldn't find that on Billboard, so that may be true, but I won't speak on it. But still, he's almost certainly going to debut at number 1 next week. Any other big debuts you guys looking forward to, or is anything else that's surprising there?
Yeah, other than the Juice WRLD, which it looks like, we don't know yet, but projecting is going to be Weeknd's top selling album of the year in terms of first week's album sale, which is super dope. I didn't expect that to happen. I don't know if you mentioned this also, but it's going to break some streaming numbers for a debut. So it's going to break some records on that, according to reports and whatnot. Maybe the Kid Cudi Eminem top 50, possibly.
Yeah.
On the
I
Hot
get
100.
the Adventures of Moon Man and Slim Shady. I hope so. I think even maybe a top 40. Those are both two relatively big names, and
like
Kid Cudi's coming off the success with the Scots, so I could see
Do
that.
you want to predict where it's gonna land?
I say top 50. I say this. I'd say top 50, but I hope it predicts, because for a single, even though it's great, it doesn't even have a single sounding, like, it's not a single. It doesn't sound like a single. So it would be interesting to see that go in the top 10.
If y'all had to guess a placement for it, like a specific number, what would you guess?
45.
I say 34. And that's just powered by streams on the first week. I doubt this got that much radio play, but Eminem fans buy his music still. So I think that'll be something. People forget Eminem is how many, 2 decades into his career, and it doesn't really promote heavily, it doesn't perform heavily, it's his own thing. But his album, I believe, was still one of the most bought this year. And then globally, it was incredibly successful. So his fans buy his music. So I think that would give it.
Yeah, I was in India for the last semester.
Yeah.
People love Eminem there. When I talk to people about music in India, they would always bring up Eminem. Like even without me bringing up rap or anything, Eminem would always be an artist that they brought up.
Well, Eminem is the highest selling rapper ever. People forget that. I mean, people say Drake's the most popular. That's whatever. But Eminem's the most highest selling rapper ever still. Mm-hmm. So not surprising. Katy Perry, Smile, her single. Probably gonna debut.
So that's probably going to be on here next week. Katy Perry, I will say the one-off singles and like little loose she's released haven't done that well, at least speaking on the charts. But I feel like that has more to do with the fact that this just isn't a pop year. Like hip hop has kind of clearly been the dominant genre. So I think that just makes it really hard for a pop song to break through. When you have top 40 radio sounding more like the urban radio because they're playing hip hop all the time because that's just what's popular right now. I think that says something, but where would y'all place that? I think I've listened to the song maybe once.
Well, I'll still say I'll have good placement, because even though consistently it's been rap songs that have dominated the Hot 100, pop has had its moments. So not Katy Perry, Lady Gaga debuted pretty high. A couple
Harry Styles
in the
right
top 5.
Oh, that's true.
Harry Styles is still there.
Even
Justin Bieber was there.
Doja
Cat, exactly, to an extent.
So where would you place it? Where do you think a Katy Perry single can go?
I still want his respect, but I'll say top 20, 25.
I was say top 30. Top 30.
Top 30.
Yeah.
We also, last week, this is something we all discussed, but Summer Walker, Life on Earth EP. I know it's an EP. I don't think it'll have a high, obviously, because it's not an album, but I could see it being in the, top 70, something like that. Because it's based off streams, because people love Summer Walker.
I think it's higher because people love. I'd give it a top 20 for sure because a lot of people streamed it, and just as far as R&B goes, it's been one of the large, more acclaimed R&B releases you've gotten as of recent, specifically. So I think that'll help it.
Yeah.
But again, like you said, it is an EP, so it's not being promoted that heavily right now. But I think a lot of people are just streaming it just cause,
Exactly. And I think the last one we have is our guy, James Blake. I think we just put that on there because we hope. But James Blake's, he's a respected artist. People love him. People like him. We're an example. Yeah. So I expect him to be somewhere on there.
I mean, like the top 100, maybe.
It was so good, though. That's what's unfair about this. It is such a good song.
Yeah, but also it's the summer and people aren't. That's not a summer type song.
Oh, you're right. That's a winter song. That is a strong let me be
fall,
home
winter
when it's freezing outside, foggy outside.
Yeah,
tough track.
For as popular as his songs have been, even just producing, King's Dead as an example, he's not as popular.
Yeah.
As he should be.
He produced King's Dead.
Yep.
Yeah, and isn't he featured on it as well?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Another conversation for another day. Okay. Up releases.
So things coming out soon. We have another deluxe, Noah. You talked about this last week. Another deluxe.
Another deluxe. Another example. This is, and from what I've read and what I've seen, 16 new songs. So basically, dang near a new album. 16. So basically, dang near a new album coming out. Similar to Lil Uzi's plan of, basically releasing a double album as the deluxe. So 16 new songs of Pop Smoke, which is dope. I mean, I don't have a problem with this. I mean, get as much music out as you can.
See, maybe I'm a traditionalist. I miss the days where a deluxe, when you drop your album, you drop a deluxe edition and it just has 2 extra songs. Or if you're gonna do a deluxe, it comes like maybe a couple months after, a couple years after, with like 5 or 6 brand new songs, But this whole thing of I'm gonna drop an extra 16 a week later, 1, let the music breathe. I'm very big on that. And 2, in the case of Pop Smoke, where this is a posthumous release, I think it would be so much more impactful if they waited maybe a year from his death, or maybe a year from this release, and then said, okay, here's another deluxe. Here's 16 more songs. 16 new tracks is an album. Like, I kind of wonder why you wouldn't want to save that and at least try to extend his presence for as long as you can.
Yeah. I mean, I liked what The Weeknd did earlier this year with his deluxe album, where it was just like 3 extra songs. But I agree.
Yeah.
If like, obviously Pop Smoke's estate or whoever's controlling his music is going to want him to be relevant far longer into the future than just now. And I don't, putting out a deluxe release a week after or 2 weeks after the album comes out, I don't think is the best way to go about it. But hopefully they have some sort of strategy. They probably do. They're smarter people than us. So
yeah, I agree.
I agree with that because obviously when people die, you kind of want their legacy to stretch a long time. So I don't want them to use all the work, because then if this is all the music, even if these 16 songs are songs that he actually worked on, I'm assuming they're going to release music in the future, and that's where it's going to be his vocals on music he didn't rap over. It'd be like new production or something like Tupac.
Exactly. And then
Michael Jackson.
Not even that. It's like 16 new songs. This will just be my last note on this. That's risky. Like, this album was a very good album. 16 new songs. You're opening this up for, and I don't think people will criticize a posthumous album like as they would if the artist was still here. But I just think right now, the album as it was such a great way to say, okay, this is Pop Smoke's debut. We can allow him to rest knowing that he had fantastic music coming out. And introducing 16 new songs, that could potentially muddy that, And I don't want that risk when an album was this good as is. But alas, like Avery said, they're smarter than us. So hopefully they have a strategy somewhere.
Yeah. Our boy Logic with the retirement album. Our boy Logic with the retirement album.
No pressure. I think July 24th? Is that when that's coming out?
July next week.
It's produced Logic, by No ID.
No ID. He was respected. No ID was respected.
Are y'all listening to it?
I'm gonna listen to it. I'm gonna listen to it. I think retirement, anything gets people listening. So, but
do you think this is real?
He's retiring?
Yeah.
No.
Right?
It's a Nicki Minaj.
I don't believe it. So. The only person who really retired was Andre 3000, and he didn't announce it.
50 Cent retired.
Frank Ocean retires like this every album.
Well, yeah, Joe Budden retired. Does he count?
We love Joe Budden.
Yeah, but he retired. Oh, okay, I get you. But 50 Cent, he retired. When did he retire? He retired. It doesn't matter. But Logic says he's retiring to focus on his son. So congratulations on having a kid. That's great. But
and I was like, focus on your family, because I think so many people in the music industry have talked about how just the nature of the industry has forced them to not spend that much time with the loved ones. So yeah, what? Take the decade like you said you wanted to. Hopefully we get another Logic something in the future, because unlike the mainstream, I'm not against Logic as a rapper, and I'm open to another song or album or mixtape. So let's hear it.
My last thing on this, the only reason I'm kind of like wondering if he's gonna retire because he's only 30. So all these other guys we mentioned are in their upper 30s, 40s when they're saying they're gonna retire. Logic is 30.
But he broke out young though. Like, I was listening to Logic in middle school, so you have to know like 19. Early 20s.
Been out like exactly. He's been out for a decade, like at least, like since 2010 at least. So yeah, but we'll see. I'm gonna listen to it. Hope it's good.
Yeah, I'm indifferent. He can rap. I'll find something to enjoy in it. It'll be fine.
I'm here.
So y'all, there was a New Music Friday. There was a slew of new releases. Of course, we have the 2 DJ Khaled Drake tracks. We had Joey Badass's 3-track EP.
He said, "Don't call it EP." Don't call it.
Yeah, so I didn't want to call it an EP. The Light Pack, and then singles from Jadena, Nelly, Rhapsody, Amine, Kaytranada, Janae Aiko's deluxe edition album, another deluxe edition, and
I
said Amine. Oh, that name.
It's pronounced Biabadoobie. I had to put it on there. It's my favorite.
See, I wasn't gonna.
It's my favorite release of the year, so I did it.
Okay.
But y'all, let's run through this real quick. What did y'all think of the 2 Drake tracks? Because I say those are the 2 most prominent ones. Pop Star, Grease, go.
I'll keep it very short. I'll keep it short. Grease was bad. Pop Star was fun. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, pretty much exactly the same. They're both disappointing. I thought. I expected something like pretty exciting, and neither of those were that. So, yeah, I don't know. Underwhelming. One was not good. One was okay. So, what do you think of this?
Here's what I'll say. One, these are all leaks, right? These are all loose.
Yeah.
I think it's important to consider that. I don't think either of these are going to be on the album, or even a DJ Khaled album. Because I just don't. I know Grease is definitely a leak, and I feel like Pop Star may have been. But I think there's a reason a leak as far as these were leaked. They leaked online.
Every Drake song leaks. Every Drake song leaks. So.
No, but these songs were officially released though.
I know, but I'm saying they leaked previously to being.
Oh yes.
Like if you check the comments, if you check like Twitter comments on when they said these songs were coming out, people were already posting the leaks. Like, I'm hyped.
Oh
yeah.
Really?
So, but my thing about it is, I agree with you guys. Pop Star to me is it's a typical Drake commercially successful track. That's what it sounded like to me. It sounded like a song that a lot of people would enjoy. I could see it getting radio play. I could see it charting well. I could see a fun music video for it. To me, that wouldn't surprise me that much if it ended up on someone's project, because it's fun. I like the song. Grease, on the other hand, y'all know how I feel about languages, Drake. You know, when Drake, I think he's done it too many times before, and even those prior times, they weren't all necessarily like amazing. It was sort of this like, oh, this is fun, you know? To me, it almost feels like a lazy way of trying to differentiate the music, you know? Like saying con mi isn't like, oh, it's not a Latin song, all of a sudden you're just saying this con mi. Like, you know what I mean? It felt like it needed a little bit more. And I think that's why Drake put it out now, and as opposed to making it a promotional single for his album, because I think he knows that. But again, he's Drake, so I mean, people are going to listen to it. He's going to be fine. But, you know, one was a hit, one was a miss in my eyes.
I stand with what I said, so nothing much else to say about these songs here.
We don't need to discuss them. They're nowhere near the songs that come out this week.
Yeah, but on the songs that we did enjoy, the Light Pack, Joy Badass, I like that a lot.
Joy Badass. Yeah, Joy Badass. It's been 3 years since he came out with the album, All American Badass in 2017. Well, for the record, I'm a Joy Badass fan, so I'm going to like everything he puts out. But it was good to hear him. It's been a long time. I forget it's been 3 years. And yeah, so it was good to hear him. All 3 songs are great. The Pusha T one stands out a lot.
Absolutely. No explanation. Definitely stands out.
No explanation. So yeah, 3 good tracks. Released a music video for the first track. I'm gonna look up the name right now. I forgot the name of it. The Light, exactly. Yeah, the Light, No Explanation, and Shine, which I really enjoyed also. So every song was just solid, great rapping. That's what he does, so it's all good.
Yeah, I remember listening to Devastated on All American Badass before I graduated. So so it's been pretty, before I graduated high school. So it's really cool to hear Joy Badass again.
And then just these singles. Did you guys listen to any of these singles from Jadena, Nelly, Rhapsody?
Well, no. Hold on. Nelly isn't a single. Nelly's a little short release project.
Oh, is it like an actual project?
It's like 7 songs here, but I didn't listen to it. I was just wondering if anybody's still listening to Nelly in 2020. Are you
Nelly collabs? Are these new songs or just remixes of old songs?
Nnamdi, I have no idea here, buddy.
Because one of the songs is called Air Force Ones, and that's like, I know that's one of Nelly's hits.
Songs.
Oh, you know what he did? Okay, I'm looking on here. It's Nelly collabs, Nelly slow jam. So he did one for like different things. So I think this is an official release, but I think it's just a thing they put out. But he put Nelly collabs, Nelly slow jams, and Nelly party anthems. So I think it's just old releases. Still cool, but I was just wondering if anybody's gonna listen. It's old songs, so. But yeah.
Nelly, people listen to catalog music a lot. I think 60% of the music people consume tends to be things they've already listened to before. So, sure. People go back to the old reliables.
Yeah.
These new singles, what were your favorites? Jadena, Rhapsody, Amine. For those of you who listen.
I like the Amine song. It's cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool.
What was it called?
Cool.
It was
I forgot what it was called. I got you in 1 second.
Compensating. Yeah, I like that a lot too. Featuring Young Thug.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was good. Mini's good. I like him. I'm not necessarily a big fan of his albums as a whole, but he has songs I really do enjoy a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. Hopefully his new album Limbo, which is expected to come out in 2 weeks, I believe, 2.5 weeks in August, the first week of August. Excited for that. We'll see what happens. So yeah. Jadena, I didn't get a chance to listen to that.
Black Magic Hour.
It was really good, I thought.
It's really good.
Pretty similar, like Jadena themes, but he kind of rapped about what he's been up to lately, and I thought that was really cool. I really enjoyed it. Nnamdi, what do you think?
I liked it a lot. But y'all know I like Jadena. You know, Nigeria got to support Nigeria, so I've always been a big Jadena fan. But he's kind of also taking a break. I look forward to seeing if this is part of a larger project, because I'd be into it. But yeah, I liked it a lot. Kid Shinada's also released a song I was a very big fan of.
Featuring Lucky Day, right?
Featuring Lucky Day. And this is just, I mess with Kid Trinada. Look easy. I am a big Kid Trinada fan, period. So anytime he releases something, I just know it's going to be fire. But this was a great song as well. And then Janae Aiko released her EP. Not an EP. Deluxe edition of her album, Chilombo. A lot of people loved it. Did any of you guys get a chance to listen to any of the newer songs?
Did not get a chance to listen to the newer songs because the first album is already 20 songs. So, yeah, we just hate long albums. I think that's just consensus here. We hate long albums.
It's just harder to listen to.
But it's hard to listen to. But I haven't got a chance to listen to it. But I did like the first album. I do like Janae Aiko. I like her voice a lot. I mean, I like her. I enjoy her music. It's really chill music. It's nothing to keep you up. But it's nice, chill music in a good way. So yeah.
Yeah, I haven't listened yet. I keep meaning to, but haven't.
Yeah.
And then Avery, really quick to me about this last artist you have on here.
Yeah, her name's Viaba Doobie. She's like a Filipino-British rocker. She came out with a song called Care, and it's like, I loved it. It really reminded me of like 2000s rock, which is obviously what I grew up on. So it was really I loved it. It was super like nostalgic for me. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it a lot. Her music's great. So
do you think we'll like it?
Maybe.
No, we're gonna listen to it. We're gonna listen to at least a song, then come back next week and reflect.
All right.
I mean, if you like 2000s rock, you're gonna like this song.
I'm a Fall Out Boy.
You might like it.
My bag. Paramore. That's my bag. Paramore's my bag.
Yeah, you might. I think you'll like it then.
I like Linkin Park.
Yeah, I think you'll like it then.
Yo, let's get into these headlines. There's a lot of headlines that came out this week. I think the one that we have to start with this because it was the biggest twists and turns, plot-driven story we've had in a minute. Megan Thee Stallion got shot. So let me just say this now. The way we're going to talk about this is just from what the artist said and what we actually know for fact. And we're not going to spread that many of the rumors out about this. But what we know, Meg Thee Stallion, Tory Lanez, and a friend of Meg Thee Stallion were in a car. We got a report saying Tory Lanez was arrested for having a concealed weapon. I didn't know anything more than that. Meg Thee Stallion was taken to the hospital for injuries. That's all we found out. Meg Thee Stallion then replied, because of course Twitter, there were headlines going around. Oh, they came from Kylie Jenner's party. Maybe she was involved. Oh, what were they doing? Was there a shootout? Someone shot at them. No one really knew. Meg Thee Stallion posts this, clearing the air, saying what people are saying is inaccurate. I suffered a gunshot wounds, plural. I think that's important to make sure it's known. As a result of a crime that was committed against me and done with the intention to physically harm me. I wasn't arrested. I was drugged to the hospital where I underwent surgery to remove the bullets. She is expected to make a full recovery, and this is a very traumatic night for her. That's all we knew. So again, things were still very, very confusing. Okay, what? Meg Thee Stallion was shot? Who shot her? Was this a drive-by? Who was trying to attack Meg Thee Stallion? And then we start seeing some headlines that come out that say Tory Lanez could have potentially, so allegedly, have been the one who shot Meg Thee Stallion, which wasn't really known. We started saying that he planned on coming out and making a statement, didn't get anything else. But the details that were being put out basically suggested this idea, right, that Tory Lanez shot at Meg Thee Stallion. It's reason she had to go to the hospital. We don't know any details. We don't know if it was accidental. We don't know if there was a fight. None of that. Everything else is just a rumor and speculation. We do know Megan Thee Stallion said that this was done with the intent to physically hurt her. She then tweeted and said, everyone's making a joke about this. This is very difficult for me. I think I have the specific tweet also in the comments, so if you want to pull it up. But she says basically that, you know, people, it's all about protect Black women until it's time. You know, this isn't funny. This is an actual traumatic thing I have had to go through with. I'm real life hurt. And yeah, that's pretty much all we know. Tory Lanez hasn't said anything yet, but the police arrested him for having a weapon. She was shot at. Bullets have to be removed. This is serious.
Yeah, that was an explanation, Nnamdi. But of everything that went on. But this is honestly one of the wildest stories in the last couple of years, just in general, like of everything that's unfolding. Seriously, that's not like a death or something like that, obviously. But I'm talking about just like the general story. Megan Thee Stallion, obviously, within the last 2 years, I think we would all agree, is probably the biggest rising star in hip hop in the last 2 years. A lot of buzz, a lot of people love her music. She has a strong fan base, the Stallions, obviously. So this is a really terrible incident that happened. I mean, obviously, we're thankful nobody died. Obviously, Megan didn't die, but nobody ever wants to see anybody get shot. So it seems like she's okay. But I'm just really interested in what's unfolding and what we get more details about going on. Because even though there's a lot of, you know, things going on Twitter and, you know, a lot of, you know, people are alleging things, we don't have a lot of facts right now.
Yeah.
So I think we're still waiting for a lot of facts to come out for people to really, you know, come together with the actual opinion on this. So yeah. Just insane.
Yeah, I mean,
it's crazy.
I pretty much echo all of y'all's sentiments. It's a crazy, crazy story. I don't think we've seen anything like this recently. Happy she's okay. Happy everyone's safe. She has a valid point here because there were a lot of jokes being made on the internet afterwards. But yeah, happy she's okay. Happy everyone's doing fine. I hope the situation gets cleared up soon for the internet's sake and for her sake. So.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize that, you know, this isn't Twitter. This is real life. Somebody got shot. Like, somebody bodily harm actually happened. And yes, it's, you know, obviously it's going to be trending on Twitter and people are going to have their jokes, but I totally understand Megan's frustration and her hurt and her being traumatized over the situation. So yeah.
So yeah, I guess we'll keep on look for any updates to come through that, and I think Tory Lanez is expected to say something soon. So yeah, we'll look forward to that.
Yep.
Another big news. We didn't have this headline here, and I want to touch on this before we do the Verzuz thing. I'm just gonna freestyle it because I remember it. But YBN Cordae was arrested at a protest, along with several other prominent people that range from athletes to actresses. This isn't the same protest, but this protest throughout. And I guess the protest, the activism is still very much so going on, even though it may not be depicted in the media all that often. But I believe he was arrested with a couple other rappers, and I wish I could remember exact name. But I just thought that is something.
Trey the Truth was one of them.
Trey the Truth.
Trey the Truth.
Yeah.
I know Portia Williams was arrested. There was the football player. Who was the player that was arrested?
Kenny Stills, who plays for the Houston Texans. Yeah, it was a lot of people. Correct me if I'm wrong, Nnamdi, but I believe YBN Cordae was arrested in Kentucky, obviously where Breonna Taylor was killed. I believe that's where it was. And obviously YBN Cordae is the big musical act involved in all this. But it's you know, I mean, obviously this just shows that these people protesting, it hasn't gone anywhere. It's very much really strong. And these artists, which we talked about a while ago, maybe on our actual episode or a test episode, but these artists out here are really, you know, some artists, you know, have kept quiet still, but there's a lot of artists who are out here really in the field doing work. And YBN Cordae is a big example of that.
Absolutely. He's
a young guy. Exactly. So it's unfortunate to see anybody get arrested for just, you know, protesting, which is obviously a right in this country. But comes with the territory. But it's still great to see him out here protesting, and we hope he gets out safely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I think on the topic of protests, really quick, of course, rest in peace to John Lewis, Congressman John Lewis, and civil rights hero. You know, not music related, but just very much so worth saying.
Yep, and CT Vivian also.
Absolutely, and CT Vivian.
Absolutely.
Now that we've paid our respects, let's get to something that's going to end up probably being very disrespectful. DMX and Snoop Dogg's Verzuz battle. Y'all see how I did that? Battle of the Dogs.
Battle of the Dogs. Honestly, this is probably the weirdest matchup we've had in Verzuz. I think everyone we've seen so far, like Nelly Ludacris, Erykah Badu, Jill Scott. I'm trying to think of another one. John Legend had one too. Yeah. John Legend, Alicia Keys. They've all kind of made sense. We're like, oh, I can see that. This has been the weirdest one I think so far, and the fact that they're making connection to the Dogs is still like, but I don't know. We'll see. We will.
I
see.
think a DMX and like 50 Cent would have made more sense to me than a DMX Snoop Dogg. Or just the people. DMX was very big early 2000s, late 90s. So people from that era that were huge. So I think 50 Cent. I think to an extent Jay-Z. I wouldn't put him against Eminem, but even Eminem, I think that would make more sense than Snoop Dogg, whose legacy definitely extends that of DMX, and who's had such a longer career. All that to say, I think because of that longer career, Snoop Dogg is gonna win this. I think DMX may have some wins, like some rounds, but I think you do 20 songs, people will forget. People tend to forget how this long and acclaimed Snoop Dogg's career has been. He has hits that he can pull out the bag that you may have forgot about, ranging all the way from Gin and Juice to
Drop It Like It's Hot.
Drop It Like It's Hot. If he wants to go pop, California Girls, Beautiful by Pharrell, because he's on that track. Snoop Dogg has some hits. So DMX had his moment, but I think Snoop Dogg is gonna take this one home.
I think both of their catalogs are pretty top heavy in terms of hits. I think it thins out after, maybe not to the same extent, but it thins out after a few, if you're talking about their own personal tracks and hits. Yeah. So I think it's going to be really interesting after, DMX and Snoop Dogg burn through 5 of their own songs. And then what are we going to see after that? It's going to be interesting.
I agree with you, because at first thought, I was like, obviously Snoop Dogg might have the biggest songs, or maybe DMX, but it's hard to say. But at first I was going to say DMX, because even though I agree with you, they're top heavy, Snoop Dogg has one album that people really acclaim, which is his first album, which is Doggy Style. And DMX, even though I agree with you, is top heavy, he has like 2 albums at least that people really enjoy, can pull from. So at first I was saying
DMX 50 Cent makes so much sense. This makes so much sense to me.
I agree with you, but I was saying, but what I forget about these verses is that it's not just their song. They can pull from features, and that counts. And that's where I think Snoop Dogg will take the cake in that. The fact that he can pull from features, which I think will help him elevate him to a win. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
It'll be entertaining at the least.
Very much so, yes. I think the easiest way to really compare catalogs for Verzuz is to go to Spotify, Apple Music, and they have those like, this is Snoop Dogg playlist, this is DMX, or and on those playlists they pull from features and singles, and that for me is when you can just see easily, like, oh wow, I forgot Snoop Dogg had all of these pop features that were like Young, Wild, and Free. Y'all remember that Snoop Dogg was on that? All I Do Was Win. Did y'all remember Snoop Dogg is on that? Like, when you get into those features, like, he has a lot he can pull from. So yeah, I guess we'll all watch it and see what ends up happening. But
exactly. Nnamdi, you blowing up today, bro.
That was actually me accidentally playing a Snoop Dogg song. I forgot he was on PIMP 50 Cent Snoop Dogg. Y'all remember that?
Go for it. But yeah, that'll be interesting. So yeah.
Yes, and I guess now our last headline. This is a really big one that I am excited about. But Billboard announced some rule changes. Namely, they're ending the practice of bundling. So what is bundling? Well, bundling was this tactic that artists would use to boost their chart placements. They would bundle a traditional album, so an album sale, with merchandise. So they can say, hey, buy my shirt at this price, or you can buy my shirt and this album at this cheaper price maybe. Or, buy my concert ticket, alone, or you can buy my concert ticket and buy 2 albums with it, and they would base prices on that. And oftentimes the bundle may be cheaper or a better value than buying either by itself, so that would drive up sales. Another tactic that used to be done is a digital download kind of bundle. So they'll say, hey, you want to order a physical copy of my single? Sure. You can buy that now, or a vinyl? Sure. And with this vinyl, I'm going to give you 5 digital songs too for you to download whenever you want to. And they would count all those things towards the overall chart placement. So a lot of people have been saying for a long time, hey, this is unfair. You're not just focusing on the music. People can use it to manipulate their stuff. Travis Scott, for instance, this was really big back when Astroworld was coming out. Yeah, when Queen and Astroworld was coming out. Part of the reason Astro was able to stay at number 1 for another week is because Travis Scott, I believe, was selling concert tickets for a tour that he hadn't even announced the dates for yet, with with copies of his album, basically saying, "Hey, you want to pre-order my ticket? You can also get an album when you do that." And just different tactics to just get more albums out.
You know how you were talking about buy this album? That wasn't even it. It was like, if you get the season pass, you're gonna get an album with it, and they just counted it. It wasn't like pay extra for the album or get a deal. It's just that how it was. It's not like they intentionally, people like, I want to get this album. They're like, I want to get the season pass, and I just happen to get an album. So it's crazy. Yeah.
It was just a tactic used to get you a higher placement, and it is probably very overdue that they're doing this, but it's about time. And I think it'll really make the picture clearer for what people are actually listening to.
Yeah, like I said, I had no problem with it, because if it worked, do what you got to do. Do what you got to do. If you, I forgot the artist. It was a country artist we talked about a while ago, like a month and a half ago, who did a similar thing for his tour that wasn't even gonna happen.
I think it was Kenny Chesney.
Kenny Chesney, that's right. He did the exact same thing, and he went to #1 over Drake. I remember we talked about that, over Dark Lane demo tapes. And honestly, I don't really mind it, but it is interesting, because I agree. To me, this is how Billboard keeps the integrity of their chart as much as possible.
Absolutely.
It keeps the integrity, because it's going off actual sales, so people actually buying their album. Potentially, I want to buy this album. People listening to the music, people making the decision to actually listen to the music, and that's going to go towards, not when people are saying, buy this ticket and you'll get my album. That's kind of cheating in a way.
Buy this shirt and I'll give you 2 albums.
Exactly.
What are you doing?
Exactly. It makes you come off as thirsty. So artists will be hurt from this by their sales. Those sales will not look as good. So if Travis Scott did not do that, I wonder what his albums would look like then. Would it have been #1? Maybe.
My thing is, and I'll say this, and y'all know I've said this, and people will say that I'm being a bard or whatever, but Nicki Minaj is, again, in my opinion, been outspoken about something, and then like a year or two later, finally something happens. If you recall, there was once a time where streaming didn't count nearly as much for chart placements, and I believe it was Nicki Minaj back then too, who was really outspoken about that, because a lot of her tracks were peaking at #2 because they weren't counting streaming. And now all that has changed, and this happened again. To me, the act of bundling, I've always been aware of it. It's always just felt weird to me. It's always felt like kind of a way to cheat the system. Because if the chart's just supposed to be based off what people are listening to, how are you allowing merchandise and ticket sales to be included in that? Especially if people are just trying to kind of clearly using it to milk out sales as much as they can. So I think in the Billboard article itself, it says Justin Bieber, Ariana Grande, and 6ix9ine have all benefited from the strategy. I think this is definitely going to impact placements and have a impact on how often people not only get to #1 but stay at #1. So I look forward to seeing the effect. I believe it goes into effect in October. So merchandise album bundles will officially no longer count at all. October 8th, all albums, and then for bundling of physical albums or singles with digital downloads, that has to stop August 7th. So yeah, look forward to seeing what happens.
See what happens.
This makes me excited to see what other way artists try to sell their albums.
Yeah, because they're just gonna get creative.
They're gonna get creative. So we'll see. Yeah.
So I guess now it's time for the big topic this week, which I was really excited about. So Nielsen comes out with a mid-year report.
Explain what Nielsen does.
So Nielsen basically they track music consumption across the country from radio. They consider streaming, YouTube sales, and what they actually do is Billboard bases their chart placements on Nielsen numbers. Because Nielsen will say this album sold X amount of copies. This artist has X amount of platinum albums. They keep track of all of this. So they basically just accumulate all this data that then goes for chart placements. So they released this mid-year report, which is basically telling you what people have been listening to up until about July, this point of 2020. And it is interesting for a number of reasons, but especially because we've had the COVID-19 pandemic. So I think that has changed what people will be listening to, when we listen, how often we listen, and the exact genre we're listening to. And there's a lot of interesting nuggets in here that I don't think that many people would know or suspect, and we are going to dive in and break them all down. We can start at the top. I guess this is just kind of something we call, top 5 artists by total consumption. They had top 10 in this report, but I figured for the sake of time to get us to the 5. I'm sure you guys can guess who the #1 artist by total consumption is. I'm sure you could all guess.
Drake, of course.
Drake.
Yeah, no surprise here with Drake. Drake's pretty much the king of music right now, honestly. I think
this is the U.S. though. This caveat.
Okay, yeah, king of music in the U.S. for sure. I would say not just for a long time. It was like, yeah, Drake runs rap. Now Drake runs music in the U.S. right now. Pretty much, we would say. And these numbers, for the record, is based on album sales, digital songs, video, streams, music videos, all that stuff. So. No surprise to see Drake at number 1, honestly. He's probably going to be like that for every year for the next couple of years, probably. So,
I think what's interesting to me about Drake is if you look at how the breakdown is. When it comes to just album sales, because Drake did push out Dark Lane demo tapes, which I guess they're counting here, plus sales of his previous works, 57,000. But then when you look at on-demand streams, 3 billion. Video streams, 369 million. And that's what gets into an album equivalent consumption number of 2.46 million. So he's still rules streaming, and that's just insane.
It's pretty insane. I would say, because looking at this top 10, especially in 2020, I would say most of the names aren't a surprise for you guys. Obviously, Drake, Weeknd, Uzi, Post Malone, Eminem, Lil Baby, Billy, all those people aren't surprises. Roddy Ricch, the Baby. But the name that stood out, number 5 here.
Boy, did it stand out.
It did stand out. Young Boy Never Broke Again, also known as NBA Young Boy, whatever you want to call him. Young Boy is number 5. I want to list them just for the sake of, for our audio listeners. Drake number 1, The Weeknd number 2, Lil Uzi Vert number 3, Post Malone number 4, and Young Boy Never Broke Again is number 5. Over Eminem, Lil Baby, Billie Eilish, Roddy Ricch, and DaBaby. So, that is pretty surprising here, considering he released the album, but out of the people on this list who released albums this year, it's the lowest selling album of albums that people have released this year. Remember, Roddy Ricch released last year, so he doesn't really count. It's just amazing, honestly, considering I didn't know he was this popular.
It shows a generational shift, kind of, right? Like 20,000 sales on your album, but then 2.4 billion on-demand streams. Like, so clearly, people are listening to him.
He has more than The Weeknd. He has more streams than The Weeknd.
And Post Malone.
More streams than Malone. Like, look at that. That's insane. It's insane. It does show a generational shift just where music is gone, because this guy is really young. He's like 21, 22. It just shows, just because people aren't on the radio, or just because people don't have number 1 song or a top 10 song that you hear all the time, these kids will listen to these artists all day long on Spotify, on YouTube, and this is not YouTube.
Yeah,
mix.
You're gonna bring that up.
Yeah, exactly. YouTube, exactly. People kids don't need to buy music anymore. They will go to YouTube and listen to his music all day. I mean,
he has the highest on-demand video streams here, and that's probably because a lot of his fans go to YouTube to listen to his music. And it's not even by a little bit. It's like doubling these people. Other people.
It's doubling Drake almost. It's almost doubling Drake. That just shows a generational shift here of how people consume music.
Absolutely. So. And I think another thing that's surprising on here, and Avery, I want your opinion, because I know you're someone who listens to really good pop music and puts me on pop music sometimes. Billie Eilish is the only pop name on this list, and she didn't even release an album this year. Is that surprising to you?
Not really. Billie Eilish is huge, and in a year where we haven't had a ton of, I guess we have had high-profile pop releases, but I don't think there's a pop star on Billie Eilish's level right now. Taylor Swift kind of comes in when when
at least in this moment, in this current moment,
when she comes out with an album, she's might be the most popular artist in the world, and then she goes into her in between album cycles, and she's kind of low. And plus, no one's touring right now, no one's going on late night shows or anything right now. And I think Billie Eilish is just about as big as any pop star can get right now. She's doing the next Bond theme song. So she's out here. So.
Yeah, that's very true. And I mean, the next two things we wanted to highlight are all extensions of this album chart. If you scroll down a little bit, there's the top albums by I think it's total streams. Lil Baby, My Turn should be number 1. It's the top 5 albums. There we go. Lil Baby, My Turn, number 1 at 1.467 million. The important thing about this list, this is album sales versus streams. So basically sales plus streams. Think about it that way. So video streams, audio streams, and then sales in all forms. My Turn, number 1, 1.467 million. that just edged out a couple weeks ago The Weeknd, whose After Hours was previously the best-selling album this year. And then rounding out the top 5, Lil Uzi Vert, Eternal Take, Roddy Ricch, Please Excuse Me for Being Antisocial, and Post Malone's Hollywood's Bleeding. Any surprises there? All of those albums are now platinum. Have all sold beyond 1 million copies.
I have a quick question. So does bundling count towards album sales?
Yeah, that's the whole point of it. Yeah, absolutely.
The Weeknd, I have the album right behind my computer, the physical copy, because I bought Weeknd tickets and it came with an album. So.
See, so with this change, they wouldn't be able to bundle like that. And if they did, it wouldn't count. What would happen is you would have to purchase that album as an add-on. So basically a whole nother thing that you're putting in your cart, separate transaction for it to count.
Wow.
Yeah. It's interesting. All these top 5 are all platinum, at least these top 5 right here. Post Malone, Roddy Ricch, Lil Uzi Vert, Weeknd, and Lil Baby. I believe Lil Uzi is the only one. I mean, not Lil Uzi, excuse me. Roddy Ricch is the only one that didn't release this year.
No,
wasn't that December though?
It was December.
Post Malone didn't come out.
And Post Malone, you're right. Post Malone. Yes, but still, I still think when it's labeled as 2019, people are like, oh, that was last year. People have short. I think we forget. People have short memories. Like a year is a long time for people now. So
Post Malone's album came out like well into mid 2019. Like it wasn't any time in like late 2019. It's pretty impressive that he's.
That is very impressive.
Really impressive. And also the thing is also just look at the album sales. So these are things where people have actually bought the album and then look at the stream. It's just so
absolutely.
It's so insane.
And no, if you really want to see that disconnect, so I wanted to highlight the next one. So this top 10 that we just said were with streams and sales. But if we break that down to just album sales, digital sales, and physical sales, Avery, you can go down a little bit. The list looks completely different. Here we go. So total sales. BTS.
Right there.
BTS is now number 1 because their Map of the Soul album sold 552,000 copies. This just total sales of this album. So not counting streams, not counting singles, just this album. The Weeknd After Hours is the number 2, 407,000. Halsey's Manic, 266,000. Chromatica by Lady Gaga, 264. And then Kenny Chesney Here and Now at 249. So the whole scope completely changes. All of a sudden, pop, again, very popular when you just break it down by total sales.
That's exactly what I was going to say. It just shows the difference in pop and rap. Like, obviously, everybody's using streaming now, everywhere. Everybody's using streaming now. You are blowing up today, my buddy, my boy. You are blowing up today.
I know,
it's all good.
Sorry.
It's all good. We're good. Yeah, it just shows like the difference. And like, obviously everybody's streaming nowadays, but especially in pop, you could see people are actually buying albums now. In rap, I mean, people buy albums, but it's more streaming. It's dominated more by streaming. Like if you see there, it's BTS, who is obviously K-pop. So I guess they count. Halsey, Lady Gaga, Billie Eilish.
Other group at number 8 is also
Bieber, Harry Styles. Yeah, that's K-pop too. K-pop is dominating.
What's their name? NCT 127.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's a K-pop group as well.
Wow.
They're just dominating. They're dominating the world. Honestly, the world charts, BTS is probably going to dominate everybody right now, I would say.
So that makes you ask, how do we have a situation where when it comes to total US sales, BTS, Map of the Soul 7, 552,000 copies, clearly they have an audience. But you never hear them on radio, and because of that, they never really chart that high on Billboard. Do you think that language barrier, as we become more globalized in our interests, will ever really fall away or fade away,
I don't think so. Because I think K-pop has always been present. I think there's always been a lot of people have stand for it, and they just have and BTS just happens to be the biggest K-pop group. I mean, I'm not familiar with K-pop, but they're one of the biggest K-pop groups we've seen for a while, I guess we'd say. Because I've always known people that listen to K-pop. It just seems like they're just a big group that seem to that seems to resonate with a lot of K-pop fans nowadays. So it's just one of these things where the music the scape is changing now, and K-pop is really at the forefront of that in terms of the world.
Well, okay, so if you think about it, what did it take last time for a song that's not in English to become popular in the US? It took Justin Bieber to remix the most popular song in the world to even get on the radio, right?
We're talking about Despacito for those who are confused.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think it takes an adoption by someone popular in America's, people that American listeners listen to, and it also takes something insanely popular, which I think BTS certainly has the listenership to do, the talent to do. If they just got like, I don't know, a pop star like Billie Eilish to do a remix on one of their songs.
Oh, it's gonna be.
But
they've done songs with Halsey, and Halsey clearly is popular, being number 4 on this list. Or this is the other digital album. I think Halsey was still Manic was like number 3 on the total album sales list. So
yeah.
You know, so they have had those collaborations, and then they did an Old Town Road remix. I remember that with Lil Nas X. But maybe you're right. They just need a really, really big A-list established name to kind of help them get to that next level and break into the American audience. I think
people still buy albums. People still buy albums. I know y'all used to get on me, but people still buy album guys. But
that's
I'm not
true.
one of those people, but we used to do
more.
So now we can run through some of the genre breakdowns that kind of surprised us. R&B hip hop has definitely been leading the pack, so I guess we can start there. Noah, what did you see? Because it's something you looked into. Drake, of course, is number 1, but what did you think about the rest of these?
Another surprise with NBA YoungBoy again. Like, guys, I did not know this guy. I mean, obviously he's, people know who he is. I'm not saying he's like an underground guy nobody knows about, but dude is right under Post Malone, who's arguably
They're tied.
He's up there in terms of popularity. Exactly, he's basically tied with the dude in terms of popularity this year, which is surprising because I know we love Drake. Drake's the most popular, but in terms of popularity, Post Malone's right there. Honestly, seriously. It's crazy. So I was really surprised this young boy being up there, considering he didn't have an album release this year. He did have an album release, but it didn't do amazing. But it's just really interesting. And this is obviously considering on-demand streams and everything else. But I guess this just shows me how old I am.
Has really NBA YoungBoy been on a freshman list for XXL?
No.
So this kind of reminds me of Lil Uzi a few years ago, with like how he was huge on SoundCloud but hadn't yet broken into the mainstream. But this seems like a larger version of that.
Yeah, I don't know, because I don't know what it is, because it's not like
he's just really popular with a certain age group that's maybe not very represented in this other with
but
us.
They watch YouTube a lot, they stream a lot, they're on Spotify a lot, and that's what this is. Y'all remember that list? I think he had 20,000 album sales, but then millions upon millions, hundreds of millions of or not hundreds of millions, but millions upon millions of streams that just carry him to number 5 on this list. It's really impressive. And like you're saying, shows that shift.
And that's and another thing I noticed in terms of like the top 5 genre artists, if you go down the other list and see like top 5 albums, top 5 songs, radio songs, and stuff like that, you see some repeats of names. But NBA YoungBoy, excuse me, it's not like a name that's always repeating, or his name doesn't repeat often. So it's just interesting because it just shows how kids are consuming music, because they're not showing YouTube songs. He'd probably be up there in terms of YouTube streams. We just did that or something like that, or video streams. So it just shows how people in the generation a little behind us, like 5 years younger than us, are listening to music, or 10 years. Seriously. I mean, we're not old.
You're absolutely correct.
We're not old. We're still young, but there's kids younger than us that listen to music way different.
Exactly.
Makes us sound old.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we're aging, but from the genre that's kind of leading the pack to one that's kind of fallen off over the last couple of decades, rock, the top 5 rock artists, the top selling aren't from this century. So, Avery, what is
There's one group here that is from now, and that's Imagine Dragons. So number 1 for top 5 genre artists for rock. Number 1 is the Beatles. Number 2 is Queen. Number 3 is Imagine Dragons. Number 4 is Fleetwood Mac, and number 5 is Metallica. Yeah, this really struck me when I was going through this. Like, wow, we were in a really, really weak time, a really weak era for rock in terms of popularity. I think it shows how far rock has fallen off the popularity charts and kind of flip-flopped with hip-hop in the past 30 years. I mean, certainly you can find good rock music. It's not that there's not good rock music still being made. There is. It's just not popular, obviously. And those who do listen to rock are listening to very old artists from it's like 60, 70 years ago, or 40 years ago, or I guess Imagine Dragons like 6 years ago. But what do you guys think of this? Were you guys surprised? I was
I think
honestly.
I'm curious to know who owns the Beatles catalog, because the fact that 40 or 50 years after the rise of the Beatles, they're still selling a million copies.
60.
Yeah, they're still pulling 1 million copies a year. It's just insane, absolutely insane. And it's just same with Queen. But Queen, it makes a little bit more sense to me because they had the movie and they were more they were really more at the forefront a little bit. But the Beatles, you don't see that many greatest hit packs being pushed out, and they're still getting a million listens a year and leading the pack of rock.
Hits album.
One. Yeah.
They have one greatest hits album.
Absolutely insane.
Most people listen to.
Yeah, that's crazy. And considering before hip hop, I think rock was the number one.
It was,
genre. Yeah. It was the most popular genre, and it is crazy because hip hop is probably the youngest genre that's out right now, and rock is probably the oldest. Rock is old as all get out, like probably last 100 years. Seriously.
I mean,
so
if you look at these, sorry, go ahead. Keep going.
No, go ahead. I was just saying, it's just crazy that rap is number one and rock has taken a fall, according to Avery, considering it's been out for the last 100 years.
Yeah, and you look at these top 5 albums for rock. It's Queen, Elton John, Creedence Clearwater Revival, Journey, Fleetwood Mac. That Journey album was stuck in my car because I could not get it out. It was just stuck.
I don't even listen to rock, and I know that's old.
I know.
Exactly.
So
Hotel California is the 5th most popular rock song this year.
Insane.
The Eagles, I just know it's old. I just know it's old.
Yeah, no, the Eagles are great, but they're so old.
But let me ask you guys this. So what I think is going to end up being the genre of the eventual future, and this is what I'm interested in. Top 5 Latin albums. And I say this because of who's dominating this list. There is no other genre that has such a singular artist dominating it like Latin does. Bad Bunny, I'll just say, when it comes to sales, has sold 1 million album units this year. That's triple the number 2, right? So Ozuna is number 2 at 337,000. J Balvin's number 4 at 253. Shakira, number 5 at 247. Then Nathaniel Cano, I don't know if I'm saying that right, at number 3. I said that order weirdly, but still, it goes to show none of them are close to Bad Bunny. He literally almost triples the second place. So you hear that and you're like, wow, this artist is clearly huge, dominating this genre. Remember, Latin albums, this is Central America. Sometimes it includes anything Latino. There's a large base here. And then you scroll down a little bit, you see what the top 5 albums are, and that's even more mind-boggling. Bad Bunny, I'm not going to say all these letters, but the new one, YHLQMDLG. I know that stands for something. I don't know how to say it. 927,000, almost platinum. Number 2, Bad Bunny again. X100. I feel like I'm saying these names wrong, but that album, 209,000. Then it's J Balvin, Colores. Okay, great album. And then Bad Bunny again. 5th album, J Balvin and Bad Bunny's collab album. So literally, there's just not a genre that has a single artist dominating the way Bad Bunny is dominating the Latin music market.
Well,
it's insane.
There's one thing I have to disagree with you with. You said in terms of it being the most popular in the future. I say because of this one issue, it's the reason why it won't be the most popular, because it's one artist dominating it. I love rap, but I would say this: the thing that rap has that I don't know Latin has is that not only is obviously it's the most popular right now, but it's so saturated. There's so many artists, and every year there's new artists that we don't even know about that are so popping out here. And they're so saturated with a lot of it's saturated with popular artists too. We can probably name 20 artists, rap artists, and they're among the most popular artists in general in the whole.
I know, but hold on.
Country right now.
But the reason why I say the future is because rap is big, but it's very big in America. If you look at the global scale, when you look at a global picture, what people are listening to across the world, that's when things start to look very, very different from what it is in America. And we look at world songs, you see BTS at the top of that list a lot. You see Bad Bunny at the top of that list a lot, because globally, this is what people are listening to. And I think it takes a really, really, really huge name in any other foreign market to break into the US. And I think Bad Bunny can be that name for Latin music, because he's dominating that genre, and eventually he's going to get that one hit in America that makes him big here as well. And then I think BTS will be that for K-pop, and that's going to be the introduction to the American market. It's going to, and when I say introduction, I mean the American mainstream music market. I just think that's coming. I think when you have one artist who is so popular on a global scale, eventually they're going to be able to break into the American market, and I just think that's I think that's where we're going. I think we're going to a future of music that is much more global. I think it's gonna end up being a norm one day to hear a song in all Spanish on the radio or a song in all Korean on the radio. I think that's where we're headed.
I agree with you on that point in terms of the worldview. I agree with that.
So now we can talk about. Wait, Avery, I'm sorry.
Something that I thought was pretty interesting about Bad Bunny's popularity is that, like, who do you traditionally think about being the most popular Latin artist?
Probably J-Lo or Shakira.
Yeah, and then look, he's literally like quadrupling to like outdoing her by like 5 times on this top 5 genre list. It's insane.
Yeah.
It's absolutely insane. And again, just literally no one else dominates the genre the way I think Bad Bunny's dominating Latin music right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But to things a little bit more specific to this year on this chart that I thought were interesting, Noah, you saw the Black Lives Matter section of this chart, which basically looked at what songs have gotten a boost amid all the protests that we've seen. Specifically, the period they're comparing here is from May 28th to May 26th compared to the week prior, when there was a lot of protests across the country. What were people listening to?
Exactly. So if based on the dates that they're coming from, I believe between May 28th and June 6th is when protests started running not rampant, but it's when they started. A lot of people were protesting. Correct me if I'm wrong. When protests started growing and whatnot, and when the George Floyd video came out of Mark Auburn, Breonna Taylor, and whatnot, the different protests that people were doing. So, and number one is Childish Gambino with "This Is America," which released. Is that 2018? That's 2018, I think.
I think so. Yeah.
That's wow. Long time ago. Wow. I didn't think it was. I thought it was 2019. Yeah. So I want to say it's not a surprise that, because obviously something that big about that song was obviously the song was good, but the music video was a big thing too. And the music video had a lot of messages in there, and it was a black music video. I mean, that's the best way to explain it. It was a black music video, a lot of messages in there that you can pull from. Number 2 is a little more not eye-popping, but surprising. J. Cole, Middle Child. Now, that's a great song. I love J. Cole. I love that song. I didn't know that's a weird song to have on there as a.
What's it doing on this list?
I don't know what it's doing on the list. The only thing I can see is it's a great hype song. I can get people listening to it to get hype, but
it's weird though, because I wonder if they were just looking for songs that. How do you? Were they just looking at the songs that were popular during this period? Like, I'm curious as to how Middle Child, which one only got an 8% increase in listens, so didn't even get that many people listening to it more.
Well, that's the thing though.
That ends up on this list.
True, but that's the thing though. A lot of these songs on the list, even if they're not like directly like Black Power, a lot of them have they have content in the song that deals with that. So when you look at Kendrick Lamar, all right, that album was obviously theme of Black Lives Matter during that time when it came out and whatnot. And then you go down to A Lot. It was a popular song, but also featuring J. Cole too. That song talks about black issues also, and obviously NWA F the Police, which obviously speaks for itself. Not surprising that's on the list, but it was just really interesting seeing Middle Child on there. And maybe as you see here, I mean, for our audio listeners, they have this smallest growth out of the top 5 albums in terms of it went up only 8.9%. But maybe because it was already popular, I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm predicting.
That's what I'm predicting, but it's interesting to see it number 2 on this list with 606,000 streams, but the smallest growth in terms of during this time period. So yeah.
Yeah,
I think a lot to see Rage Against the Machine on here, Killing in the Name. That's a fantastic song. Yeah,
just to say some other names that are on here: Rage Against the Machine, John Legend and the Roots, Hang On In There, Sam Cooke, A Change Is Gonna Come, Killer Mike's Don't Die, Ludacris, Silence of the Lambs.
It did the increase too, because Killer Mike's Don't Die got a 7,000% increase in streams.
7,000%, probably that's the biggest increase out of anybody on this list.
Now, granted, you have to ask how many people were listening beforehand, but that's still insane.
Exactly, huge increase. Obviously, he had a huge viral moment with his speech in Atlanta, and Nipsey Hussle, Grinding on My Life, which is good to see too. So yeah, that's Black Lives Matter.
So that's absolutely insane. Another trend that was popular this year was songs being propelled by TikTok. So TikTok being what got songs honestly on top of the charts, and it was this kind of unique form of promotion. But Avery, what were some of the takeaways you saw there?
Our TikTok correspondent, Avery.
I know I bring TikTok up like every week when we're looking at the charts, but I think, like it says, this is the unquestionable influence of TikTok. It's been so undeniable. TikTok's been such a force this year in terms of propelling music and making it popular. Just a few songs are like Say So by Doja Cat, Falling by Trevor Daniel, The Box by Roddy Ricch, Tuesday Slide by Drake. Have a whole list on there of The Box by Roddy Ricch. It's an insane amount of songs that were just propelled by TikTok that became TikTok trends by all these creative, younger people like our age, even a little younger than us, creating dances to them, creating trends to them, making jokes out of them. It became trends, and I think it's really, really cool to see a new platform pop up, as volatile as it may be. But yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think about this?
Yeah, about this specifically, what I have to say about this is that the Tootsie Slide thing, I have all these songs. I don't know, Avery can correct me if I'm wrong, but Tootsie Slide is the one that stands out as the one that was made for TikTok. Like, the purpose was like, this is going to be a TikTok song. All these other songs, correct me if I'm wrong, were out, and then they're like, oh, they happen to be on TikTok as a trend. Drake was like, oh, this is gonna be a TikTok thing. This is gonna be on TikTok.
Certainly the most egregiously popular song to be like, oh, this is gonna be a dance on TikTok, and it was. Yeah, it's Drake.
And he succeeded. Yeah, I think to me this speaks to the future. I think this is going to be the new form of promotion as people try to appeal to Gen Z more, since they're going to be the new it generation. This is how you do it. I think you'll see more, and you have seen it since then. More artists release songs and say, oh, do the so-and-so challenge on TikTok with this song. They haven't all been as successful, but I just think that speaks to where things are going. And truly, Say So by Doja Cat, some girl made a dance to that one day and it blew up, and that's why that song really propels to the top of the charts. It was out for nearly a year prior to that, I want to say.
It was,
and that's what gave it that final boost it needed. So I think really this speaks to what to expect going on.
They did the dance in the music video too.
Yeah, that's true.
And I I've even seen creators on YouTube get together with like producers and say, like, okay, we're gonna make a viral TikTok song right now, and they use their platform to try and make a viral TikTok song. So it's definitely something we're gonna see in the future for sure.
Yeah.
Another kind of media thing that came out of this is of course the Verzuz battle. We talked about some of the upcoming ones, but the Verzuz effect is also really interesting. These, for those of you who don't know, Verzuz is organized by Timberland and Swiss Beats. Avery, you passed it a little bit lower. Right there. It was arranged by Swiss Beats and Timberland, basically as a way to get people to be interested and give artists a way to get their catalog a little bit more promoted amid the pandemic. So basically, they have two artists go to head-to-head battles and play 20 songs and ask the world to decide who has the better 20 songs. And even though this is supposed to be a competition, a lot of them have been friendly, and the larger impact is the catalogs of these artists just get a huge boost, and I'm sure they get streaming money off of it. But some of the ones that have stood out is Erykah Badu and Jill Scott had a battle. Their catalog saw a 217% increase. That's a combined catalog for those two artists. And the 2 days, and they compared the 2 days prior to the battle to the 2 days after. And the 2 days after that battle, 270% increase in their music. Beanie Man and Bounty Killer, 216% increase. And, that was even more surprising because that's reggae, so that's a little bit more niche. Babyface and Teddy Riley, who were really, really big producers of the 90s, 90% increase. And then Nelly versus Ludacris had the smallest at 30%. I think that's just because their music is already being listened to quite heavily. But that's amazing. And I think Verzuz is just a really creative thing to come out of this pandemic. What did you guys think?
Yeah, it's obviously used as like people, but also obviously it's used as entertainment during this pandemic because people were bored in their house and entertainers really wanted to find a way to entertain people. So it's interesting considering that Erykah Badu and Jill Scott's battle was probably the friendliest, had the biggest increase. I don't know if that's had anything to do with it, or considering maybe, I don't know if they had their streams were already maybe lower compared to these other artists, which made sense where they had the biggest bump, which might be why Nelly and Ludacris were at the bottom, because I consider them probably the biggest selling artists out of these right here. So it's just interesting. So yeah, it's nice to see Verzuz actually making a difference in these artists' catalog and people listening to them. So
I'm excited to see what they do with Verzuz going forward. Like, I would totally love to see BET pick it up for a show in the same way that like Lip Sync Battles is a show right now, and that started off as something on Jimmy Fallon's show. Because
I wonder,
it'll be so exciting to have a crowd in front of two established artists
going
playing
ahead.
their music and like just vibing out to it. And I think that'd be really cool. So
yeah, I wonder where Verzuz is going to be post-COVID.
it's really exciting. It's an exciting prospect. So I'm happy it's popular, and I'm happy they're still doing it.
Yeah, just wondering what's going to be post-COVID, how it's going to turn out. So yeah.
Yeah. And I guess the final thing we can end with that I think really sums up this whole thing, and Avery, I have no idea where I got this stat from in this stack, but it's somewhere in here. There was a statistics about streaming before COVID to last year versus now. Basically, they look at the year to date. So what were people listening to up until now last year, up until now this year? And they look at the genre percentage of this. So what genres are most popular? I think it's at the bottom, kind of, Avery. I wish I could remember.
Right.
So what genres are popular now? There it is, right there. So no surprise, R&B hip hop, as far as the market share, is kind of pretty popular. It saw a 13.6% increase in listens across the pandemic. So from this time, beginning of the year till now, that same period last year, they compare it, 13% more of an increase. Now, some of the surprising things on here. Country also saw a 21% increase, which I believe was the second highest on this list. Second highest on this list. Children's music was number one, 57.4% increase in streams from this time this year from last year, which maybe makes sense. Kids are home, parents have to keep them busy somehow. 57% increase. Yeah,
not surprising at all, considering kids are out of school and they're home. So not surprising to see them as the number one thing on that also. So that's not surprising at all. And also considering hip hop is considered the most popular, they have the lowest increase out of these top couple of genres in general. So that's interesting. So
and they're not even the lowest, but say, because I guess for how popular it is. But what to me really stood out as shocking, but I guess this makes sense because of the pandemic. Dance electronic music actually saw a 3% decrease year over year, but it makes sense. You can't go out anywhere to dance, so why would people be playing it? And you kind of see at the beginning of the year, when comparing it to the I guess before pandemic, January, February up until March, it had a 0.4 increase, right? So it was cold, it was kind of getting warm, people were starting to listen to dance electronic more. And all of a sudden, it drops because I guess no one wants to dance. It's sad, and it's such a signal of what's going on right now.
You know what? Also surprised it hasn't been a bigger increase. Christian and gospel. I'm just considering these are tough times and people are looking for ways to find some hope and faith. I'm surprised Christian and gospel hadn't took a big jump either. But dang, dance electronic taking a hit.
Did I see a children's song in all these top?
No, not one.
Are you sure?
All those songs were explicit.
No, there was this one, Dance Monkey, The Tones and I.
Oh,
that's a children's song?
I assume so. It's called Dance Monkey.
Wait, I don't know. I think that is maybe a funny name. I'm about to Google that. Is that a kid's song?
I kept seeing it everywhere. I was like, is that a children's song?
Oh, y'all,
I don't think that's a children's song.
It's like a Baby Shark kind of thing.
Yes, I think that's what it is. Tones and I.
I'm not confident that. I think that's just an actual song that's silly.
It's just a regular song.
I don't think so, because Tones and I is an artist, and they have a song called "You're So Effing Cool."
You're right.
So
okay,
I don't think Dance Monkey is a.
Okay, I was wrong.
What kind of name?
I just kept seeing it on there, and I was like, "Is that a children's song?" So it'd make a lot of sense if it was, but okay.
No,
it's probably a TikTok song, honestly.
Yeah.
So that's incredibly interesting. But that's kind of our wrap up on the Midyear Report. There's a lot of standout things, but NBA YoungBoy is way more popular than you think he is. Children's music is incredibly popular right now. Bad Bunny is dominating Latin music. Put some respect on BTS's name because they're selling things.
And put some respect on NBA YoungBoy.
Exactly. Again, put some respect on YoungBoy because he's doing his thing too. And TikTok's way of the future. So that's kind of the takeaway if y'all don't want to listen to the whole thing. But real quick before we hop out, projects of the week. What have you guys been listening to? I forgot to write mine down. I'll think of it real quick.
Come on, buddy.
Surprise.
Avery, go ahead.
I was excited for these Joey Badass songs, and they obviously did not disappoint. So, like I said, I was listening to All American Badass leading up to my graduation. So it was pretty nostalgic to go back and listen to that. It was a fun listen to get to go back through over the week. What about you, Noah?
Boldy James and the Alchemist. It wasn't on my top 5 at the mid-year, but it might end up being on the end of the year top 10. It will probably be there in my top 5. So Boldy James and the Alchemist, The Price of Tea in China, they released in February, but the deluxe edition just released this past week. So I've been listening a lot to that. So so the deluxe version has 3 more songs. Normal deluxe, not 20 new songs. So
The Alchemist is out here, man.
he's killing it.
He's killing everywhere.
He's killing it. So that's been my album of the week this past week. Oh, my boy Nnamdi. Go ahead and say it.
Yeah, because I was trying to think of what I've been listening to at work, and it's been without a doubt Dinner Party. That's like become my new work album because it's just perfect for like, while you're doing something, instrumentals, lo-fi kind of rap. But Trace Martin, Robert Glasper, Ninth Wonder, Dinner Party's great. That's all I can say about it. I think it's the perfect sort of chill, relaxed
work album.
Work album. And I listen to it, I think, almost every day at work this week. So there you go. That's what I'm listening to.
Yep.
But yeah, guys, anything else? Any other takeaways you want to share? Any other music takes that you feel you have to get out there before we end this week?
Surprise Dance. I feel bad for Dance. Man,
It's just sad. It's just sad.
It's sad. It's really sad, man. Dang. Yeah. It's taking a hit out here.
That stat might sum up 2020.
Shout out to Avery for almost getting us to think that Dance Monkey was a kid's song. Shout out to Avery for that. Shout out to Avery for making us think that.
Last year, Baby Shark, maybe this year's Dance Monkey. I don't know.
Shout out to Avery.
I'm about to go listen.
I mean, in all fairness, that is a completely ludicrous name. But I mean,
yeah, but
so it's ludicrous.
That too.
Well, I guess that concludes another episode of the 97 Demo podcast. If you've listened to this part of the episode, we value you, so thank you. Make sure to subscribe to us. We are now on SoundCloud, Apple Music, Spotify, and YouTube. And yeah, tell your friends about us.
And Apple Podcasts. You say that already?
Apple Podcasts, yeah.
Apple
We have a Twitter now. We have a Twitter now at the 97 Demo. If you listen, let us know what you think. Give us music suggestions.
We're on everything.
We're on everything.
Yeah.
And yeah, we will see you next week.